What's going on, guys? Today we're going to be going over a new Dark Magician deck made with the new Dark Magician support. This deck is pretty good, it has a lot of OTK potential, and it can really turn the tides on your opponent real quick. So, without further ado, let's get into the cards. Starting with, well, obviously, the ultimate wizard in terms of attack and defense. It's 3 Dark Magician. In a Dark Magician deck, you're going to be playing 3 Dark Magician. That's pretty self-explanatory. Next up, we have a new card called Magician of Black Illusion, which is known as Dark Magician on the field, but this card can also help you swarm the field by being able to be summoned very easily on your opponent's turn, and also allowing you to bring back your destroyed or tributed Dark Magicians. Next, we have Elemental Hero Prisma. We're going to play 2 Prisma because he can become Dark Magician using his effect, which has a lot of great synergy with the Eye of Timaeus, and that'll allow you to play your Amulet Dragon, your Dark Paladin, whatever you need at the moment. And he also has a lot of good combo potential with Summoner Monk, which I'll get into in a second. 2 Gagaga Magician. Basically, Gagaga Magician is a normal summonable level 7 monster. That's what I use him for. If you already have 1 Dark Magician out, you can summon another, and you'll be able to have a rank 7 pretty easily. Now, the aforementioned Summoner Monk. We're going to play 2. We can only play 2, but we're going to play him at 2. What you're going to normally do as Summoner Monk, in most situations, is summon him, discard the spell card, and summon Prisma. Then Prisma will send Dark Magician to the graveyard, and you will overlay the 2 for your Daigusto Emeral. And then once you summon your Daigusto Emeral, you'll be able to summon a Dark Magician from your graveyard, and then you basically get an 1800 beater and a 2500 beater onto the field. But you can use Summoner Monk to summon your Gagaga Magician if you already have a Dark Magician on the field, or really whatever you need it for. A lot of great utility in this deck. Up next, we have 3 Magician's Rod, which is a new card in this deck. This is basically your searcher of the deck. This is going to allow you to add spell or trap cards to your hand, and it can also resummon itself on your opponent's turn if you need that. But mostly this card's going to be used to search out spell and trap cards and get your plays going. Next we have Magician's Robe. I'm only going to play 1 of Robe because I don't think it's as good as Rod. You can summon Dark Magician on your opponent's turn, but if you normal summon it, it only has 700 attack. So you're really going to set it and then wait for your opponent to run into it, and then you can use its effect, I suppose. But it's just kind of a slow card. I can resummon itself from the graveyard, which is good, but it just seems too slow for what I want this deck to be. In a slower variant, I can totally see this card being played at 2, but in this deck, I think 1 is okay. Now we move on to the spells. We have 3 Eye of Timaeus, or Legendary Dragon Timaeus, as some people call it. I love this card. I loved that arc in the anime. It's probably my favorite season, so I have a lot of nostalgia when it comes to these kind of cards, but in any case, it's great in this deck. It allows you to summon your Amulet Dragon or your Dark Paladin, whichever you need at the moment, and the Eye of Timaeus will always be one of my favorite cards, and it's probably one of my favorite cards in this deck. With 2 Dark Magic Attack next. I was kind of on the fence about this card because back when Dark Magician didn't have all these kind of cards that could summon it out so quick, it felt like it was more of a gamble that you'd have to have Dark Magician on the field and then you'd play this. It just seemed like it wouldn't happen when I needed it to. But now that there's easier ways to summon Dark Magician, I think this is a very, very viable card in the deck, especially with pendulums and stuff. You want to get those out of the way as fast as possible. So this is a very solid card, and I would highly recommend playing it at least at 1, if not 2. We have 1000 Knives. I'm really just kind of testing this card. I think it's pretty good in the deck because you can search for it with a couple cards. So as of right now, I like it, but this is totally a card you could take out and replace with something else if you wanted to. 3 Upstart Goblin. Now I have Twin Twister. 2 Illusion Magic. Illusion Magic is a new Dark Magician support card, and basically what you're going to do is tribute one of your weaker spellcaster type monsters and add 2 Dark Magicians from your deck or graveyard to your hand. Not much to say about this card, really. It's very good. Clearly you want Dark Magicians in your hand so you can go off with your effects. Has some really good synergy with Magician's Navigate, which we'll get into in a second. 3, Dark Magic Circle. I really like this card. It allows you not only to see what your top 3 cards of your deck are, but then if one of them lists Dark Magician, or is Dark Magician, you can add it to your hand, which is obviously helpful. Then you can sort the order in which you want those cards, and then if you summon Dark Magician, normal or special summon Dark Magician, you can banish a card on your opponent's side of the field. That is a great effect. I love this card, and it can really help you pull off those OTKs just by getting rid of a problem card, or even background. This card is really good in the deck. I would say at least 2, but I'm going to play it at 3. Next we have 2, Dark Renewal. Dark Renewal is basically what your bottomless is going to be in this deck. If your opponent normal summons or special summons a monster, you're able to send that monster and your spellcaster type monster that you control to the graveyard, and then you're able to special summon Dark Magician from your deck or graveyard. Up next we have 2 Magician's Navigate, which is really one of my favorite new support cards along with Dark Magic Circle. This is the card Dark Magician needed, it really did. Dark Magician used to be really dead in the hand unless you had something like Ancient Rules to summon it out. But Magician's Navigate has really changed the game. It's basically a free rank 7 Xyz. You can summon a Dark Magician from your hand, you can summon a Dark Magician from your deck, and then to top it all off, next turn, if there's a spell or trap card that's giving you a problem on your opponent's side of the field, you can remove this from the graveyard and negate its effects. That's saved me a few times, it really has, and its effect obviously is fantastic. So I'm going to say play it at 2. I think 3 is a bit much because how many Dark Magicians are you going to have in your hand? So 2 is okay, I think. Next we get into Eternal Soul though. This card is really good. If you ignore the if this face-up card leaves the field, destroy all monsters you control, if you can protect this card for at least a little while, your Dark Magicians become pretty much immune to your opponent's card effects. You can special summon a Dark Magician per turn, or you can add a Dark Magic attack or 1,000 Knives per turn, which means that whatever you need to happen in the game, if you need more board presence, summon a Dark Magician. If you need to get rid of a back row, add Dark Magic attack. You need to get rid of a problem monster, add 1,000 Knives. This card really is the ultimate utility in this deck, and I highly recommend playing it at least 2. 1 Dark Illusion. This is a personal choice by me. I'm just trying it at 1 for now, but you can take this card out for something else if you so see fit. And our last card is 1 Solemn Warning, which is pretty self-explanatory. So we move on to the extra deck. We have 2 Amulet Dragon, which is a target for Eye of Timaeus. You can send the Dark Magician to the grave with Prisma, so you can use Eye of Timaeus on Prisma to bring out Amulet Dragon. Not much to say about Amulet Dragon other than it's obviously really good. 2 Dark Paladin. Again, same thing. You can summon this card using the Eye of Timaeus. I happen to like this card a little bit more because it has that negate a spell card effect. Dark Paladin is and always has been one of the coolest looking cards to me. So I really do like Dark Paladin. We have 1 Red Eyes Flare Metal Dragon. You can actually go into Flare Metal Dragon in this deck with all the level 7s you play. This is probably, if I had to choose a rank 7 to play other than the Dark Magician rank 7, which we're going to get into in a second, it would probably be this one, just because this card always ends up helping me out of a jam when I need it to. And speaking of jams, we have Mecha Phantom Beast Draccosack, which is basically the ultimate jam card, pretty much a staple in rank 7 decks, along with number 11 Big Eye. And now we move on to our Dark Magician, rank 7, which is the Ebon Illusion Magician. I would play 2 of him because it's really easy to go into him. Basically, Ebon Illusion Magician, it's going to allow you to swarm the field with your Dark Magicians. It's going to allow you to banish a card per turn whenever your well, Dark Magician packs. Ebon Illusion Magician is pretty much your boss monster in this deck. Next we have Ebon Void Magician. This card's okay. I think Ebon Illusion Magician is better, but I think playing Ebon Void Magician is, at least one, I think is pretty okay in this deck. It's up to you whether you want to play it or not, but it certainly looks cool at the very least, but I think playing it at 1 is pretty good. And we move on to our rank 4s now. Staples, pretty much. 101, obvious. Castel, obvious. We also have a Dweller. And we do play 2 Daigusto Emeral for that combo that I mentioned earlier with Summoner Monk and Prisma. This is really easy to help get you your Dark Magicians back. And I did throw in a couple extra cards in the side deck just to show that there's options here. We have Endymion, the Master Magician. You could throw him in maybe for one of the Magicians of Black Illusion. You can't really summon him. You don't really tribute summon much in this deck, so you're going to have to special summon him with the effect of one of your other cards. I think it's an interesting tech if you want to try that. And we also have, let me switch these around so it's a bit easier to see. We have Knight's Title and Dark Magician Knight. Some people like to play this because if you activate Knight's Title, attributing a Dark Magician, you get that Dark Magician in the grave, and then you're able to summon your Magician Knight and destroy a card. To me, I like this deck the way it is. I think it flows really nicely, and I'm really enjoying playing with this deck. The nostalgia factor is really real with this deck, and a lot in the new support. It really does help. It's transformed not only Blue Eyes but Dark Magician. Both of them are really actually competitive decks now. More so Blue Eyes, I think, but I would highly recommend you try out this Dark Magician deck if you watch the anime. If Dark Magician is iconic to you, it's really fun to be able to bring him out similarly to how Yugioh did it in the show. Just over and over, Dark Magician, Dark Magician. I hope you guys enjoyed this Dark Magician deck. I'm sorry it took me a long to come out with this. I'm currently up at college, and it's kind of hard for me to make videos with all the work I'm currently in the middle of, especially it's midterms week up here. So hopefully I'll be getting videos out more often. You guys have been showing some great support on the videos so far. I really want to thank you for that. So keep it up on this video. There'll be a dual video with this deck coming out very soon, hopefully within the next few days at least. I want to say thank you guys for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know in the comment section below what I can do better to improve the video. And I'll catch you guys later. See ya.